Hello and welcome. We just finished up Bethel's Vacation Bible School 2021, and I wanted to run through some behind the scenes of how we did some of the special effects. All of it was done within Minecraft, so I just wanted to show you a little bit about the headquarters and day one for that. So first I wanted to talk about this banner. This banner was fun to make. There are actually 50 maps right here that if you look at these maps, you can rotate them. All of these are maps and they represent 128 by 128 pixels or blocks that are found in a different part of the world. So if I run over here, then we can go look at that map real quick. So without taking too much time, this is the map or the region that builds that map. So I basically used command blocks and image splicing tools to create this whole area. I'll probably make a separate video on how to make these, but there are plenty of tutorials already out there about how to make these maps, and it wasn't too bad. It did take a little bit of while to figure it out at first, but overall it took maybe about 4 hours. But once got going on it, then it went pretty smooth from there. So it was a lot of fun making this map. And so we put it a couple different places in the Minecraft adventure. So back to the headquarters here. And let's see here. What was a lot of fun is actually adding music to the world. And we did that by adding these buttons. And whenever these buttons are clicked, it starts playing some music. And all we did for those is we have a command block and we have this set up here. So if you look at it, we have a jukebox, a dropper, and a redstone block, and we put the music inside of the or the disc inside of the jukebox, or I'm sorry, inside of the hopper. And then all this command does is it clones it, so it moves it from there to there, and then it just has a 1 second delay, and then it will break the redstone block that would be where I'm standing here, and then that's what makes it play. And that way it's reusable, so you can click it again. You notice that it came and then started again. So that's basically what we've used for all of the music that we did, is that pattern there where we just clone in those 3 blocks and then pop off the redstone block, which makes the disc fall in from the locked hopper and makes it start playing. It's pretty simple. All right, let's go into day one. Let's check things out. All right, so this was day one. And what we had here was basically just a lot of redstone. So when this button is pushed, we have this little guy that comes out. And the redstone for that is pretty simple. I'll show it to you in a second. For this one, we actually have a timer down here that shoots all from this dispenser, a bunch of arrows. And then so when you flip it again, it closes back up. But basically there's a piston down there that pulls things out of the way and can start the clock, and that can shoot things out. And this one was just a real simple command block, which basically eliminated all the arrows because we didn't want to create a lot of lag, and then just basically opened up the portal over there. So let's see if we can dig in just a little bit here. I'm going to do it from the back so we can try to avoid the water over there. Let me open this up a little bit. Yeah, so the redstone signal just comes in and hits this piston right here, which let's see here, which when that hits, it gets another block over here, or it depowers this, which pulls the block down. The Vindicator appears, and then it gets pushed back up after the button finishes up. So, real simple design there to pop the guy out. This one, on the other hand, was a little bit more complicated, but also mainly redstone. Let's see if we can see it here a little bit. So we have a little redstone clock over here that gets powered by when it gets pushed over. And when these two observers are facing each other, they basically create a quick clock. And that powers that dispenser over there, which shoots up the arrows. It probably is a... yeah, so the power just kind of goes through that block over there. And that's what makes that happen. So this comes down, powers it all together, and then the clock over there makes the arrows shoot out. That's pretty simple. Let's see. On the way up here, this was the second area, and we had some control areas in here just to kind of reset things. So back in this little room, we have the main command block areas, but we had a quick reset for the altar, which copied one altar to the other. And we could also summon a bunch of prophets of Baal. And that basically summoned a bunch of them. Whenever a button is clicked, you actually get about 20 prophets that come out for the repeating. That's about how long it lasts. And this one's just a simple clone from one place to another. Let's see here. So then what we have underneath, we have a bunch of these carts. We got a prophet of Baal down here in one of the carts. I don't know how that happened. But basically, all of these carts are named Larry. And what this does is the first command will actually detect for the cart named Larry. And then above it, let's go look at the dance one here. So first thing it does is says, hey, can I find a cart named Larry? And we're going to place a redstone block just above where Larry is. And then we're also going to place a sticky piston. And then we're also going to place some slime. And that will shoot it into the air. And then we're going to kind of reset that whole area that got filled with each of them. So the layer was air, obsidian, and then also summon another prophet of Baal when that is done. And we had the title, Baal hear us, and we made sure we also set it to night. So those were the main functions that this did. So when the lever is flipped, based on where the carts are down there, that's where it randomly will place these slime blocks, which make them shoot into the air. And the reason they shoot up into the air is because it all gets placed, but those slime blocks are powered, which powers the sticky piston is powered, which then pushes these slime blocks up, which makes them shoot into the air like that. So that's how we got them to dance around. Yeah. So that's how that was done. And then the fire, so we have this altar over here. And same thing, we have, if we look over this side, we have more rail carts. These, I don't know why they got called Mama, but they got called Mamas. So basically we have another set of carts down here, just randomly placed. And the way this works, I'll show you what it does first. So when you push the button, we have the lightning come that strikes. And the lightning strikes are all trying to detect those carts underneath it called Mama. And so that's why they shift a little bit because those carts are constantly moving slightly, and that way we can get the effect of the lightning strikes hitting at kind of a random spot there. That was fun to make. So here's the commands involved in that. So again, we're detecting for mama, and then we're looking up 4 blocks from it, and we're saying, hey, give me a lightning bolt. And then we're pouring in some lava, and then we're summoning more lightning. I think I have this on a delay. Nope, I don't. Not this one. And then more lightning. This one is a 1 second delay. And then more lightning, another second delay. And more lightning, probably another second delay. And then we basically fill it with air, so that way that gives rid of the lava that 2 seconds delay after that. So that's how we did this effect. All these commands that we have here. Pretty easy. Then let's move on to area 3. Area 3, again, we had some real simple commands. And we did these all over the place, where we have these spawn points, which are basically wherever anybody's located, set their spawn point. It's basically what this command does. So no matter where you are in the map, when this pressure plate is triggered, then everybody gets their spawn point placed at that point. And that really helped, so that way when Mr. Redbeard would die, he wouldn't have to start all the way over back at base and find his way back over. You just start right there. Pretty easy. So we had idle made with hands, and that just summoned a block wherever the nearest player is. That's what that does. And then we have, what does this do? Oh, this just made a hole. Okay. And yep, just fills a hole. Let's see here. Oh, I think the hole was already made. It just basically we had 2 blocks there that were with the stone on it, and just removes those two blocks, and the hole was already made down there. But we could have done either way. We could tell it to make the hole all the way down through past the bedrock, but both ways work. And then this one, what this did is a couple things. So when we press it, we actually get fireworks happening out there. And what it does is there's actually a block out here in the very middle. And it will place that block. So if you see, actually, it's not placing this block. It triggers so that block can be placed. But that basically, it starts this whole thing off. Let me show you actually where it is. So over here somewhere. There we go. We have these things again. So one thing it does, again, we had our music thing here. This one we didn't clone. We were just using it one time. There's a redstone block up here, and it just filled it with air. That unlocks this hopper, and the disc falls in and starts playing. And then we have this repeating. So whenever there's a redstone block powering it, it'll just set the redstone block at the place where I showed you before, way out there. And then about half a second later, it clears it. So it's constantly, I think this is on a 1 second, 1.5 second delay, yeah. So it's constantly placing the block and then taking away, placing the block, taking away. And every time it does that, it shoots off the fireworks. And then the other thing that this does is we didn't want it going forever because it was kind of loud. So we started the process, and then after this started the music, and then after a little bit, I think that's like 30 seconds, then we stopped the process by doing the same command, but instead of a redstone block, we just filled it with air. So again, command blocks really beneficial with the delay and ticks, being able to smartly decide when things start and when things stop. So those happen immediately, and this one happens 30 seconds later. All right, and that's what started our music and the fireworks that would play. Then we had a few more down here. Let's take a look at these. So down here, again, we have our pressure plates, and they do the exact same thing before. They just set the spawn point. So that way if something happens, they don't have to start from scratch. And we had our signs. Let's see here. No redstone there. Oops. Go around. And what we did over here is a couple things. So if you notice, there's some redstone coming out from the lectern there. And that also hits a command block. So that way when you read the book here, when you get to the end, you heard a little click there. That actually sent a signal to the redstone. And this just cloned in something that's hidden behind the wall. I'll show you that here in a second. And that basically cloned it right here, this line right here. We have another pressure plate underneath this pressure plate cloned in the cross. So that's all this does, is it gets the coordinates from the cross, which is actually behind the wall. So if we look back in here, let me lighten this up a little bit. Get some torches, and I can show you what this looks like back here. So we basically have the two things that we pull in. We have the redstone dust with barrier blocks underneath it. You
Was that intentional?
See the barrier blocks? What's that?
Was that intentional?
Doing it this way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
And then we have the cross here, which, again, you just, once you hit that pressure plate, it replaces it with the cross. Just clones it in. So that's it. I think for day one, that's basically what we had. We have, just some typical teleportation things here, which take you back to the base. I like this at all r equals 10, because that way, if you are nearby, you get teleported back. Sometimes it didn't work in our favor because faces get stuck together when you do that. But for the most part, so only one person needs to click the button and they can both come through all at the same time. Let's see. One more thing in the back here, we had our day recap. And the button here basically did the same thing as the other buttons, where it would clone in the redstone block with the hopper with the jukebox, and then get rid of the top one. I think again we have that, just a half a second delay. Now I placed this because you needed to really be able to hear it from anywhere in here. I actually placed it down below in the secret area down here.
You used it.
I did use it. So down in here is where, so it basically clones this, puts it right here, and then pops off the redstone block up there after a half second. And that's what makes the music start. And so that's basically it. That's day one. Walk through on all the different redstone that we had. Hope you enjoyed it.